What if the internet went dark for 8 straight days? Not your Wi-Fi, not your cities, the whole planet's. Within 1 hour, your phone still lights up, but nothing behind the screen answers back. By day 3, you're watching gas stations run dry because the pumps can't verify a single card. And by day 8, something nobody warned you about starts failing that has nothing to do with your phone at all. I'm Nova, and this is Nova Explains What If, the show where I hand you the flashlight and walk you straight into the blackout. Today's number is brutal. Modern economies lose an estimated $10 billion for every single day the internet fully stops. We've got 8 days, 8 breaking points, counting down to the one system nobody thinks about until it's gone. Number 8. The silent phone. In the first 60 minutes, your device still works. Bluetooth, camera, flashlight, all fine. But every app, depending on a live connection, freezes mid-request. That's because your phone was never actually smart on its own. It's a terminal that constantly phones home to servers for maps, messages, even the weather. Real science here. Most modern apps use something called a heartbeat connection, a tiny constant check-in with the server every few seconds. Cut it. And within minutes, you feel a strange, specific anxiety psychologists call phantom connectivity distress, the same stress response measured in 2008 studies of users cut off from constant notifications. You'll reach for your phone 40, 50 times that first day out of pure habit, getting nothing back. It's not addiction exactly. It's a broken feedback loop your brain built over 15 years, now firing into silence. Number 7. The vanishing paycheck. By hour 12, you try to pay for coffee and your card just declines. Not because you're broke, but because card networks route every swipe through real-time verification servers overseas. No internet means no verification, which means merchants simply stop accepting cards entirely. Cash suddenly becomes precious. ATMs run dry within a day because they too need a network ping to dispense money. Banks themselves freeze. The SWIFT and Fedwire systems that move trillions between banks daily go silent. So your paycheck, if it hasn't already landed, simply doesn't. Economists studying 2021's regional cloud outages estimated single-hour losses in the hundreds of millions for payment processing alone. Stretch that across a real global week, and you're looking at the fastest liquidity freeze in financial history, with cash-only barter emerging in cities within 72 hours. Number 6. The empty shelves. This is where it stops being an inconvenience. By day 2, grocery stores can't reorder stock because modern supply chains run on real-time inventory software syncing warehouses to trucks to shelves. No internet means no automated restocking. A system called just-in-time logistics that keeps most stores holding only 3 days of inventory at any moment, a number confirmed repeatedly in retail supply chain studies. You watch bread and bottled water vanish from shelves within 48 hours. Not from panic alone, but because the entire replenishment chain simply has no way to know what's needed where. Truck drivers still have fuel in trucks, but dispatch systems, GPS routing, and load manifests are all cloud-based. The result? Warehouses sit full 3 states away, while your local store sits empty. A mismatch nobody can coordinate without the network that normally does it invisibly, instantly, every single day. Number 5. The grid starts to wobble. Here's a fact almost nobody knows. Power grids themselves lean on the internet for something called SCADA coordination, the software linking hundreds of substations so demand and supply balance in real time. Lose that visibility and operators go partially blind, forced back onto manual switching that's slower and far less precise. By day 4, some regions experience rolling brownouts, not because there's too little electricity, but because nobody can see where it's needed. This mirrors real documented cascading failures, like the 2003 Northeast blackout, where a software visibility gap turned a local fault into a 50 million person outage in minutes. Now stretch that fragility across a full week with no digital coordination anywhere, and grid operators are essentially flying a 747 with half the instrument panel dark, hoping decades-old backup protocols hold. Number 4. The sky loses its clock. Quick question for you. What actually keeps every bank transaction, cell tower, and traffic light system perfectly synced to the same instant? It's GPS satellites, and while GPS itself isn't the internet, the ground stations correcting satellite drift and distributing precise timing absolutely are online. By day 5, tiny timing errors start creeping into systems that depend on split-second synchronization. Cell towers, stock exchanges, even air traffic control backups. Studies from the 2012 GPS timing glitch at a US telecom show even microsecond drift can desync entire regional networks. Planes keep flying using older backup navigation, but at airports, subtle scheduling errors start compounding, delays stacking on delays. It's not planes falling from the sky. It's civilization's shared clock quietly drifting out of sync, and nobody agreeing anymore on exactly what time it is. Number 3. The hospitals run on paper. This one hits hardest. By day 6, hospitals fall back on paper charts because modern medicine quietly depends on cloud-connected systems. Electronic health records, remote imaging analysis, even IV pumps that check dosage databases online. Doctors trained entirely on digital systems suddenly need decades-old manual protocols nurses twice their age still remember. Real hospitals during 2021 ransomware attacks, which knocked out digital systems regionally, documented longer wait times and diagnostic delays as a direct measurable result. Now imagine that same strain everywhere at once for a week straight, with no outside network to call for help or transfer records. Ambulances still run, but dispatch centers lose GPS routing optimization, meaning slower responses citywide. It's not collapse. Hospitals adapt remarkably fast, but every process moves at 1990s speed inside a 2020s patient load, and that gap is where real strain quietly builds. Number 2, the borders go quiet. By day 7, something bigger than any single country starts to strain: global trade coordination. Shipping ports run on internet-linked scheduling systems tracking thousands of containers. Without it, ports like Rotterdam or Long Beach, each handling tens of thousands of containers daily, grind into chaos, ships anchoring offshore with nowhere confirmed to dock. Real economists studying the 2021 Suez Canal blockage measured a $10 billion per day hit to global trade from just one choke point closing. Now imagine every port, everywhere, losing coordination at once. Currency markets, which trade over $5 trillion daily through interconnected digital exchanges, essentially stop pricing accurately because no exchange can confirm rates with any other. Nations quietly begin falling back on decades-old telex and radio protocols between central banks, systems most operators alive today have never actually used. And number 1, the one nobody sees coming. The internet forgets how to restart itself. Here's the paradox. Bringing the internet back requires the internet. Systems like BGP, the protocol routing traffic between networks, and DNS, which translates addresses into locations, both depend on servers that authenticate through other online systems. Engineers call this a bootstrapping problem, and it's genuinely happened in miniature during real regional outages. On day 8, as crews try to flip global networks back on, they discover core authentication servers can't verify themselves without contacting servers that are also still down. A circular dependency loop. Restoring the whole internet wouldn't take minutes. Simulations of smaller-scale cascading failures suggest full global reboot could realistically take extra days to weeks. Network, by hand, engineer by engineer, physically walking between data centers with hardware keys. Rebuilding trust in a system built to never need rebuilding at all. So here's the real lesson. The internet isn't one thing you use. It's the invisible nervous system underneath money, medicine, food, and even time itself. And we only see how load-bearing it is the moment it's gone. What would break first in your city? The ATM down the street or the hospital across town? Tell me in the comments which day you think you'd personally feel it hardest. And if this kind of civilization-sized thought experiment messes with your head the way it messes with mine, subscribe to Nova Explains What If. There's a stranger blackout waiting next week.